Gervonta Tank Davis, asked directly by one of the most influential Twitter handles on this boxing talk shit, Ray Jackson. He asked directly, "Hey bro, when you fighting Shakur?" Tank says, "I got to pick up this money November 14th, but we can talk about it then. After that, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that in this video. Smash a like, sub to the channel, share the video. We live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 7:30. We also live Sunday mornings with the Singing OG KQKC Boxing Network. Sunday mornings 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Join the channel as a member. Drop super chats when you come by the live streams that we do. And hit me up if you want to debate. knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com. So, couple of things here. Tank Davis admits that this Jake Paul shit is a bullshit money grab. I've never seen him approach a fight and say, "Yeah, I just got to pick this money up." He ain't do that shit with Frank Martin, Ryan Garcia, none of the other fights that I've ever seen him have. "I just got to pick this money up November 14th. So what you're saying essentially is that you know this is a bullshit ass money grab. Cool, no problem. No problem. At least you knowing what it is. Do your thing with that. However, what I want to talk about today is legacy versus money. And this idea from Tank Knob Gobblers, Tank D-Riders, masquerading as diehard Tank Davis fans, making me a diehard Tank Davis fan and those like me look bad, bro. And that is this idea that these fights that we want to see him in aren't big money fights. That these guys that we want to see him fight aren't worth his time, so to speak. Because you hear like, oh, what has Shakur done? What has this person done? What has that person done? Here's what I know. Tank Davis has now positioned himself to run away with the face of boxing. Jake Paul, to me, is in a category all by himself because his fame is not boxing fame. His fame came in other avenues, and it has allowed him to have those same people support him no matter what he does. That's why if he posts something on Instagram, it's going to get millions of views. If he posts something on YouTube, it's going to get millions of views. If he tweets out a tweet, it's going to get millions of views. If he puts on a boxing event and he's fighting, millions of people are going to watch it. Kind of like, he's not as big as the person I'm about to name, but kind of like that dude, Mr. Beast, who I think has the most subscribers on YouTube out of anybody, right? This dude, Mr. Beast, if he has such a following, he could do some sort of show on Prime, shit gonna get ratings, people gonna watch it. He could collaborate over here with this company, people gonna buy the product. He could post a YouTube video, people gonna watch it. These people like Jake Paul, Mr. Beast, Kai Cenat, they have such a huge social media following that they can do whatever they want and it's gonna be big time. Tank Davis, Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, whomever, their name is because of what they do in the boxing ring. Their followers are following them because of the fighters that they are. I say all that to say Tank Davis is uniquely positioned to be the face of boxing because he's uniquely positioned out of all these fighters that are fighting on these streams. Real fighters is what I call them. Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford, Tank Davis to be specific. He's about to do better numbers than all of them. Terrence Crawford had 20 million people watch him whoop Canelo Alvarez ass here in America. 40 million people worldwide. Tank and Jake are probably set to double that, which is going to put him in a unique position to go back to Netflix, for him and his team to go back to Prime, for him and his team to potentially see what's up with Paramount Plus, see what's up with Hulu, Warner Sports, and start a bidding war for who wants to stream and have the streaming rights to his next fucking fight. It's an outstanding position to be in. So I say that to say the fights that we want to see him fight, specifically Shakur, that's the fight that can do the most streams. And I need Tank Davis D-Riders to either shit or get off the pot, bro. Either you believe in him and you think he can step on all these dudes and you think he will step on all these dudes, or you don't and you just want to just support him no matter what he do. And I support him no matter what he do, but I'm not going to agree with him. I'm not going to support every move that he makes. And we have to stop acting like, yes, Shakur is a legacy fight. It's a diehard fight. But it's also probably the one right now best positioned at 135 pounds where there's no negotiating on the weight. With him and Team Alifu, they have to figure out the weight class. Him and Devin, they'd have to figure out the weight class. Him and Keyshawn, they have to figure out the weight class. Shakur is the one fight at 135 pounds that will do the most streams. That will be the biggest fight. And it also happens to be his biggest legacy fight at 135 pounds, bro. So, miss me with the what has Shakur Stevenson done shit. Miss me with the what has he accomplished, or he's on the undercard, he's this, he's that. Yes, bro, he is on undercards. He is the super B-side, which is why I'm on his helmet so much about, bro, what are you doing to get the fight? Why are you talking like y'all on the same level? Why are you running around this bitch like Tank is supposed to be chasing you with some shit? Like, yeah, I'm on all of that. But what I'm also on is Tank needs to make that fight, because if it's about money, then that's the biggest money fight he can have at 135 pounds. That's the one that can sell the most pay-per-views if you want to use a pay-per-view model between 135 pounds. That's also the one that can do the most streams if you want to say that it's going to be stream-free. The only fights that we should be pushing for Tank Davis after this Jake Paul shit, Shakur Stevenson and Lamont Roach. Me, myself personally, Lamont Roach and then Shakur, because the Lamont Roach first fight, gotta handle that business. And Shakur already seems to have a fight lined up that he's gonna be fighting at the beginning of next year anyway, so he'll be unavailable. And there's no reason for Tank Davis to not fight 3 times next year, because this Jake Paul fight doesn't fucking count, bro. It don't count. It don't count. But his legacy fights are also his biggest money fights, which is why he's uniquely positioned to have such a great run towards the back half of his prime. He has an opportunity, if handled the right way, from the age of 31 to 35 years old, to get the biggest bags of his career outside of Jake Paul and put on the biggest and best fights that everybody wants to see. And if he comes out on the other side of all this shit victorious, everyone is going to forget the moments that he let them down. Because at the end of the day, bro, all we want is diehard boxing fans. All I want is somebody that's a diehard Tank fan that believes in him. It's for you to go show these people what it is, bro. And if it's not what we think, like if he's not as good as I think he is, bro, if he's not the one, as he says, then, bro, that's okay too. But you got to go out there and you got to go do that shit, bro. And you knob-gobbling-ass fans got to stop acting as if, bro, these fights mean nothing. Like Tank done already made it. He already solidified. Is he a Hall of Fame fighter? Yes. He's a 2-division champion. Ain't too many don't go to the Hall of Fame. Is he a hell of a talent? Hell yeah. Has he given us memorable moments? Hell yeah. But his career ain't over with, y'all. And he ain't had that Bud Crawford Earl Smith moment, that Bud Crawford Canelo Alvarez moment. That, like, I would love to feel how Bud Crawford fans feel today. They made it out on the other side. All the bullshit, all of the backlash, all of the hate that they claim he gets, all of the criticism. They can now sit back and say he was every bit as good as we told y'all he was. Because he handled Earl. He handled Canelo. I want an opportunity to be able to say that too for my favorite fighter, bro. And if he's your favorite, you should want that for him as well. Straight up. So y'all gotta cut this shit out, bro. Shakur Stevenson is a big money fight and a big legacy fight. Same for Team Alifu, same for Keyshawn, same for Devin Haney, same for everybody that we want to see him fight, bro. Have they done as much as Tank? Will they be bringing as much to the table as Tank? Fuck no, they won't. Hell no, they won't. But they do get him a bigger bag than if he fights another Frank Martin level opponent. If he fights, you know, Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach will get him a good bag because of the rematch or whatever. But the names that I mentioned, bro, them are bigger fights. And y'all all know it. And they also bigger legacy fights. So if it's about money, all those fights make him more money. So get it cracking, bro. And y'all need to be pushing for this shit. Smash like, sub up. I see y'all soon. Peace.